Hello friends! You're on the Last Days channel. Thank you so much for your engagement and support. And so, a review of events for July 14th. California. A wildfire in California has destroyed several outbuildings and vehicles. Due to intense heat and wind, the blaze in Riverside County quickly engulfed a 5-hectare area, burning trees and brush. Thick acrid smoke spread for several kilometers, and all the region's forces were rushed to extinguish the fire. On the ground, it was fought with bulldozers, while airplanes dumped water. There is no information about casualties and injuries. The causes of the fire are being investigated. Romania. There has been another natural disaster in Europe. This time Romania was hit by strong storms. Several parts of the country were covered by a suddenly formed cyclone, which brought hurricane winds, large amounts of rainfall and hail. The city of Junadara suffered the most from the crazy storm. The wind reached a speed of 250 kilometers per hour. It was so strong that the roofs of houses flew off instantly, trees were ripped out from the roots, cars overturned, there were power outages. Several people were also injured due to torn electrical wires. There was a lot of material damage.
Wow!
Switzerland. Severe storms hit many regions of Switzerland after a debilitating heat wave on Thursday evening, leaving a weighty trail of destruction. Switzerland's meteorological service has declared the highest level of danger. Local residents have been urged to exercise caution due to the weather conditions. According to police in the town of Villars-sur-Glâne in western Switzerland, a woman was struck by lightning. Cars and houses were damaged and trees were uprooted as a result of the severe weather conditions. Rail service was disrupted in several areas. At Zurich Airport, check-in was halted for security reasons. Sichuan, China. More than 40,000 people in China's Sichuan province have been evacuated due to severe flooding, state media reported. Cloudbursts have dumped huge amounts of rain on several parts of the country. Over the past few weeks, unusually heavy rains have flooded various parts of the country, causing flooding and landslides that have destroyed homes, damaged infrastructure, and killed several people. The rains and flooding in China come amid similar downpours in other parts of the world, raising new concerns about the pace of climate change. In 14 hours, 300 millimeters of rain fell over Yin City in Sichuan province, causing flash floods and landslides that destroyed homes. In Zhengzhou, the capital of Hainan province declared a red alert level, the highest in a 4-level warning system due to heavy rainfall. And some areas have experienced record rainfall. In Hunan province's Yuanling County, 137 millimeters of rain fell in an hour, the Hunan Provincial Meteorological Bureau said. The Meteorological Bureau extended the warning. South Africa. Traffic is at a standstill due to heavy snowfall in South Africa. A rare snowfall has hit Johannesburg and other highland areas of South Africa. Meteorological services warned of possible road closures and dangerously low temperatures. Residents in the business center woke up to snowfall lightly covering roofs and gardens. When the cold front hit the country late last week, it turned into a weather system called a threshold low. The officials said snow was reported in the southern parts of Gauteng province in Johannesburg, which is expected to continue throughout the day, as well as parasitizing the highlands of the Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal provinces. The climatology professor added that snow falls in Johannesburg on average once every 5 years, but a snow as heavy as this year's happens once every 10 or even 20 years. Locals have mostly reacted positively to the snow, calling it magical on social media. But it has caused not only admiration, but also difficulties, with some South Africans not starting their cars and motorcycles. Kyushu, Japan. Heavy rain has hit southwestern Japan, causing flooding and affecting people's lives. Rivers overflowed their banks and hillsides collapsed as record amounts of rain fell on parts of Kyushu Island. The National Meteorological Agency recorded 402 millimeters of rainfall in Kiruma, the highest ever recorded in the city. Roads and power lines were cut and thousands of people were ordered to evacuate as more downpours were expected. More than 420,000 people in Fukuoka and Aichi were under the highest of Japan's 5-level evacuation scale. Meanwhile, more than 2 million residents of vulnerable areas were also given shelter. Chicago. A tornado struck the American village of Campton Hills in the western suburbs of Chicago. A powerful tornado struck the American village of Campton Hills in the western suburbs of Chicago. The natural disaster was caught on video. The speed of the tornado, which swept over the region of the United States, reached 48 km/h. The footage shows how leaves of trees and grass fall into the funnel. The disaster also affected other settlements. In the city of Elgin, several houses were destroyed by the tornado, mainly because of the wind. Their roofs were damaged. Guatemala. An impressive sight has been observed in the last few days by the people of Guatemala in the department of Sucatepeques. Not far from the city of Antigua, activated stratovolcano agua as a result of volcanic ash ejection on top of the volcano is formed numerous electric shocks that frighten and delight the locals at the same time. This natural phenomenon is explained by the fact that ash particles accumulate a negative charge when rubbing, while volcanic gases saturated with water vapor accumulate a positive charge. As a result of the potential difference, volcanic lightning is formed. Scientists unofficially call this phenomenon dirty thunderstorm. The height of Agua volcano is 3,761 meters above sea level. There is a 280-meter crater in the northeast of the volcano. 6 craters on the northwest slope of the volcano and 2 craters on the south slope of the volcano. India. Terrible situation now in India. Continuous rains and a breach in a dam on the Sonali River has caused floods in Luxor town of Uttarakhnd's Haridwar district. According to officials, the dam on Sonali River has breached near Kwan Kayota village. On receiving information about the dam bursting, the police station superintendent and his team rushed to the spot and alerted the public. India has undergone terrible floods in the last 3 days. The death toll in Himachal has risen to 88. Traffic in Delhi has been hampered due to the overflowing river Yamuna. Due to the ongoing bad weather, the district administration has stopped commuters at Samprayag and Garakunda for their safety. According to officials, the Mandakini and Alkananda rivers have divorced due to heavy rains. India's meteorological department has issued a yellow danger level for the next 2 to 3 days and red danger level for the weekend in Uttarakhand. As incessant rains continue to wreak havoc in several parts of the hill state and water levels in major rivers are slowly rising towards the danger mark. In the past few days, heavy downpours and floods have spiked to unprecedented levels across the globe. Turkey. In Turkey, because of heavy rains, collapsed section of the road leading to the tunnel. This was filmed by eyewitnesses. The footage shows huge layers of earth falling into the abyss. As a result of the incident, no one was injured. Now the road is blocked. Recall, for several days on the Black Sea coast of Turkey rains. Bad weather has led to a traffic collapse, streets and houses flooded, and in some areas the highways are blocked. A large-scale fire has started in the Turkish resort of Bodrum. Smoke is visible for several kilometers. Eyewitnesses share shots of what is happening in the network. Forests are burning. Information about victims has not been received. According to the Forestry Department of Turkey, the fire is extinguished with the use of ground and aviation equipment. It is reported that now the fire does not pose a threat to vacationers, because the fires are far from the hotels. Russia, Tuapse region. A tornado with a rainbow was formed on the Tuapse coast after heavy flooding in the Tuapse region. It was filmed by several eyewitnesses and posted on the net. The tornado came close to the coast and dissipated. Over 280 millimeters of precipitation fell during the day, which is 3 monthly norms and equivalent to 280 liters of water per square meter. Flooded 11 settlements, in 4 of them Jubga, Tyanga, Novomikhailovsky and Nabugsky settlements in the morning introduced a state of emergency. Residents of flooded settlements, as well as tourists from tent camps evacuated to temporary accommodation centers, a total of 650 house territories in the emergency zone flooded. In 39 apartment buildings, flooded basements, entrances and first floors also suffered 2 kindergartens, 2 schools and a stadium. As a result of the flooding in Tuapse, 2 people died. The victims were in a private house, which was washed away into the sea. In the lists of missing 2 more, the search is underway. Emergency services are urgently restoring roads and the destroyed bridge.
Вот это жесть, волна. А там и люди, смотри, не уходят, пошел. Пошел. Да. Все. Испарился, да?
Russia, Novokuznetsk. Residents of Novokuznetsk have published videos depicting the consequences of a heavy downpour that hit the city, which was accompanied by a terrible thunderstorm. According to local residents, as a result of such a blow of the elements, some areas of the city went underwater. The townspeople captured on video as cars passing through the flooded city streets. It is noticeable that the wheels of vehicles are almost half underwater. In addition, some motorists after such a blow of the elements faced problems when trying to start the car. Drivers also complained of poor visibility and traffic jams. The most affected areas are such areas as Kuznetsky district and Centralny district. Russia, Shedurika. Russian Emergencies Ministry psychologists are working with residents of the Ural village of Shedurika, which was in the path of a large forest fire. People were evacuated, but 1 local resident died in the fire. A helicopter and a B-200 airplane, rescuers, as well as aviation of the Central Military District were involved in extinguishing the fire. Nevertheless, 2 wildfires with a total area of almost 200 hectares continue in the vicinity of the village. It was possible to stop the movement of fire in the village of Shedurika in the Sverdlovsk region only in the morning. The flames raged on the territory of more than 4 square kilometers, destroyed and damaged more than 40 houses. The governor of the region promised to rebuild the burned housing. 35 people were left homeless. Fire inspectors went on preventive raids in order to prevent this from happening again in other regions. In the Tomsk region, special attention was paid to the private sector. Most fires occur there. Near Orenburg, employees of the Ministry of Emergency Situations hand out leaflets and remind about what can and cannot be done on the homestead plot. Yakutia. In 3 villages of Yakutia, where the Indigirka River overflowed its banks due to rains, 33 courtyard areas were flooded. The water flooded household plots in the settlements of Ortobalagan, Sordanok, Tomtor, and Oymyukan. Residential houses, economic and socially important objects were not affected. In these settlements, a high alert mode has been declared. According to the Yakutsk State Hydrometeorological Service, in the next day or two it is predicted that yard areas in the villages of Ortobalagan and Tom Tor will be free of water. During the day the water level increase will continue near the village of Oymyakon. Additional growth will be 30 to 50 centimeters. Flooding of settlements downstream along the Indigirka River is not predicted. Residents have refused to be accommodated in temporary shelters, where 260 places have been prepared. The flood situation is constantly monitored. Horses and livestock from lowland pastures were driven away to a safe place. Southern Europe. Southern Europe is in the grip of a heat wave. Some areas of southern Europe and northwest Africa have been hit by a wave of heat, which in the coming days may bring record temperatures. In some areas of Spain, France, Greece, Croatia and Turkey thermometer columns can exceed plus 40 degrees. In Italy, in some places the heat may reach plus 48.8 degrees. At least in 10 cities, including Rome, Bologna and Florence, the red level of danger is declared. In northern Italy, a 44-year-old man who was painting zebra stripes in the town of Lodi near Milan during a heat wave collapsed and died. The man died in hospital. People are advised to drink at least 2 liters of water a day and avoid coffee and alcohol, which cause dehydration. Meteorologists predict the heat wave will bring extreme conditions in the next few days. In Spain, temperatures reached plus 45 degrees Celsius for several days, and nighttime temperatures did not fall below plus 25 degrees Celsius in most parts of the country. Established in Andalusia, the telephone helpline service for people affected by the heat wave has received at least 54,000 calls from people. Punjab, Pakistan. Pakistan's Punjab province has been hit by floods. Thousands of residents have been evacuated from the disaster zone. Another 2,000 people were given transportation to remove personal property and livestock. The water level rose due to the fact that neighboring India dumped more than 200 cubic meters per second of water into the river Satluj, which is located on the border of the two countries. Therefore, there has been severe flooding, crops have been destroyed, houses are also flooded, and people have nowhere to sleep. The planet is in danger. Glacier melting has reached unprecedented rates. Only for the last few years, the damage is almost 1.5 meters of lost cryolayer. Mankind is gradually losing glaciers. Animation clearly shows the annual melting of the cold layer and what damage has been done for 10 years. Everest suffers. Instead of a snow-white cover, the mountain is exposed and becomes dark in appearance. According to one study, the blocks of ice there have lost a 2,000-year layer in just the last 30 years. This is affecting the lives of the local population. The effects of climate change are not only affecting Antarctica, but are having a direct impact on the Himalayan mountains and the people living there. The temperature rise in the Himalayan region is greater than the global average, so snow and ice are melting quickly and the mountain is turning black, lakes are drying up. Earlier we used melt water, now it is more difficult to collect it as it is already in the reservoirs. Due to the melting of glaciers, the global ocean level is gradually rising, and this is already fraught with flooding of nearby settlements. Now the global average is almost 4 millimeters. And this seemingly small figure can do a lot of damage to the planet. Scientists can measure sea level rise thanks to satellites. They can also help determine forest fires and their long-term impact on the Earth's warming temperatures. According to the World Meteorological Organization, the rate of global average sea level rise doubled in the first decade of satellite observations. All again due to the melting of the cryosphere. The average thickness of the world's glaciers has decreased by almost 30 meters since 1970.